This week, we will be introducing to you our guests, Dr. Niaz Ahmad Khan, author of The Economic Revolution of the Century, Dr. Ali Galaid, former Prime Minister of the Republic of Somal, and Mr. Sikandar Shah, who is a consultant for an international company called International Syndicate Group, and Dr. Abdulrahim Al-Shandawil, Assistant Professor of Islamic and Social Sciences and Studies. Welcome you all. The best is to ask Dr. Khan to give our new guests a briefing on the economic revolution of the century.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome, Sikandar Shah, Dr. Ali, and Dr. Abdul Rahim. My few claims are there, which are the main thing. First claim is this, that recession not only will be stopped, but will be reversed in 30 days if this system is implemented in any country. Number two, state implementing this system will collect at least 2 to 3 times of the annual budget in 30 days. Number three, there will be massive employment by the state without any expense to the state. Production cost and the living cost will reduce by 50%, and there is a zero risk to the economy of the state implementing this system, and there is a zero expenditure by the state. How it will be possible looks like it's a magic stick. Yes, I'm not going to differ from the ordinary financial instruments. Already financial instrument which exists is that you sell bonds. I'm also saying sell bonds, but with a different attitude. How? The bonds will be sold in the public just like any other bonds, but the rate will be different. For supposing $1 will buy 5 bonds, and this will be a rate given to a person who gives the government $100,000. This is the precondition. In the second month, this rate will become 4, and then it will become 3. Now, these are the conditions. What the government will give you? Government will say, give me this and I will give you these bonds. Where will you use these bonds? Government says, use it on all my government services, not private sector. You give bonds instead of dollar. What is the formula? $100 bill you can pay off with 200 bonds. That means you are paying only $40 instead of $100. This is one. Second thing is, government says, if you want to take advantage, you can take 10 million duty-free option if you give 100,000 to the government. Third thing, government says, there will be $10 million draw every day in the country. These are the 3 conditions government gives you, and government gives you, these are the 3 months in which the rate will vary, but first come, first serve. These bonds will be sold by unemployed, poor people, and it is quite easily that it is not, no salary will be paid to them. They will work on a commission basis. 10% commission will be given to them. It is up to them to share this commission with the investor or keep it for himself. And they will have a quota of $300,000 per month, or they can sell their quota, whole year quota, in one go. These will be done through an agency which the government will select by bids. The lowest bid will be accepted. Second, third, and fourth highest bidder will become his auditors. The auditor fee will be paid by the company which is selected, and anything found wrong, then there will be fine of 10 times of the amount involved, out of which 50% goes to the company who detects this fraud or mistake, and 50% goes to the government. This is my nutshell, in which I have sold that how many millions are employed. Everybody will have a less, because the cost of production has become less. Every electricity, everything which you are buying by the dollar, you pay through the bonds. This will ultimately reduce the production cost, and at the same time your livelihood. Your cost will become also less. Here are the simplified 3 minutes if I have not exceeded in. So I have given you this.
So you can have another 40 seconds.
40 seconds. So these are the things. And there will be a special formula for private sector which is a bit lengthy one, and if one of our respected panelists asks me, then I will explain it during our discussion.
Thank you. Dr. Ali Galaid, give us a briefing of the other point of view in the last few episodes.
Well, thank you very much, Mohammed. Again, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Khan for taking his time from his very busy schedule and coming up with this book and thinking through a totally different model of managing the economy of a country. I think it's a good effort, but any economist, if you want to look at a new theory or new idea, especially when you are dealing with the public finance of a nation, you have to show how this actually will work. Most economists, at least, will give you equations. You take your assumptions, you try to look at, on the basis of what assumptions you have made, on some rigorous analysis of saying, if this is done, then this is how the economy or the equation will move. Thus far from the last 3 or 4 episodes that we have had the pleasure of taking part, we're still going back and forth on this assumption, simplifying assumptions, which Dr. Khan is entitled to make these assumptions. But the one assumption that really everything hangs around to is that the people will buy these bonds. That this is the big if. That the people will be willing to buy, and the people who will buy, despite the assertions of Dr. Khan, with $100,000 sort of deposit or at least worth of purchases, that itself really disqualifies the great majority of people. Yes, Dr. Khan the other day said probably this NGO, this non-profit organization which the government sets up,
the non-government organization, okay,
will get this, will have the first go, and then there will be others, second, third, fourth hand, that there's going to be a secondary market for this. But it's still, the key assumption here is that unemployment is going to be dealt with, and the poor will have access to the buying and selling of these bonds. That is again a big assumption. The poor will not have enough money up front. The poor will not have in any financial transactions as such, if they can't come up with, that they have to prove they have the capacity and to be able to sell. They have to have the reputation, and that the legal system in the country has to recognize them as people who will be able to really get on with the work. So one simple issue here is wonderful job in terms of coming up with this new model, and I think it has to be given at least the benefit of the doubt, but we have to be at least convinced at the theoretical level, and also for economics, and particularly in an area like public finance, one has to really put all the facts and all the different components of the theory on the table, so we'll be able to dispassionately look at them and see whether these really hang together or not.
Thank you. Mr. Sikandar, this is a summary from 2 points of view. They're not necessarily opposing, but they are different. One sees it impossible for the poor people to buy because the rich people will go very much to buy the whole thing in the first month because they will get more coupons for the money that they have. So if it can be increased by 20% in their pockets, whether it's in dollars or in coupons, it makes no difference to them. They have more money. They have more buying power, purchasing power. What do you think?
Well, You see what, I'll just go to his point first and then I'll give my comments.
Okay.
I think where I've also studied this program and his point of view or his apprehension that he has given, that it requires 100,000 to buy it and there may not be many takers. You see, and that would leave the poor people who wants to buy it without any choice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that is not correct.
How?
They can, the poor people can buy it. 100,000 is the limit, okay, that you should buy. But in 100,000, you get the maximum benefit of whatever the currency
Maybe
is.
a poor American might
no,
buy
no.
it, but not a poor Pakistani
No,
or
no,
Somali
poor
or
Pakistani
Palestinian
can buy it
or
also.
another.
No, no.
How?
The level reduces. Let's say in Pakistan, I'll take Pakistan example.
Okay.
It's 1:6.
Okay.
So if you buy 100,000 worth, it's 1 to 600,000 pounds.
Okay.
But if you buy less, let's say you buy for 75,000, then you can buy maybe 500. You can buy 500,000.
But you're not allowed to buy.
No, no, you can. You can
No,
buy.
according to Dr.
Now,
Khan.
let doctor clarify it.
Yeah, okay.
But as far as what I have understood is that you can buy, it will be 1:5, it will be less.
Oh.
Or with lesser money, it will be 1:4. Or maybe with, let's say, 25,000, it may be 1:3. But it doesn't go below 1:3 because it stays at 1:3. That is the minimum that will go. So even 1:3 is above 1:2, and there's a benefit there. So that is to answer
reply
it,
to Dr. Ali, yes.
to reply to him.
I did it in Pakistan. This is my first opportunity to start in a different country than Pakistan. Why it has not taken Pakistan is a very pertinent question. I have done almost more than 150 talk shows. There are about thousands in which economists, bankers, businessmen participated. And the start of it, they all say, you must be joking. But by the end of the talk show,
Okay.
90% agreed, 10% still didn't agree. But the thing is this, ultimately all agreed, and Dr. Ali's point is very right, that economists will have always a say that this is not right, this is not correct. They are looking at something which is in the books, which is in the journals. And unfortunately, I am one of the odd person. This is neither in the book nor in the journal. They say, from where have you got this? When they start saying this, then of course the thing. But main problem why it has not taken up in Pakistan, it is because of the American foreign policy in which they give aids to poor countries. And if they gave aids to the poor country, and I can now deliberately say that President Musharraf, who was taking billions of aids every year, why he will take this system? That billions of aid which was going to Pakistan was not going to the poor people. It was going to his people.
The army.
Sorry, no. You are gone off the track.
Okay.
We are not talking of Musharraf.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, please. We are not going off the track. You have gone off the track. My question to you was, you brought in the Americans.
Yeah.
Now that is not the solution. Because there are many who have heard you, they are economists, though they agree with you. Many of them have said yes, including me, I say yes, it's a good system. But there is no confidence. Now that man is not taking money from America. He is not taking money from America. He is not taking money. But he is not a taker. He would agree with you. He would say yes. But it doesn't give the confidence to that man that it should be implemented it should be implemented. Now that is the very factor that is lacking. Now if you are putting that on the Americans or the World Bank, I will not take that because that is only limited to a few people, you see, who will reject it because of their certain selfish reason.
So
But
I think you're saying it's a question of policy. There is a bad economic policy in the country, plus, you see, plus what you're saying. I mean, how
what
can
I'm saying is that the system does not give the confidence to the people, although they get convinced, but it's very strange. We are also, I am also bamboozled, that, it convinces the person, but it doesn't give that confidence. And why does it give that confidence? Now, it's not America.
Are people afraid of, for example,
No, I'll tell you.
corruption like what is happening now?
There will be many factors to that. There will
Yes.
be many factors to that. One is, I will go a little further than what Mr. Ali said. You see, the question is of takers. Now, even if, let's say, I've corrected it and I've said that, okay, you can go up to 1:3 or lower figures. But it is the confidence in the buyer. The question is the confidence in the buyer, whether he is poor or he is rich or he is a bank or he is a finance institute. You see, that confidence, it creates the apprehension. That thing that does not lock on, that is where it is unlocking.
So how can we then
Let
not
him
only
answer
convince? I mean, you see, you've interrupted him. He didn't finish what he was saying. But anyway, it's
No,
good.
he went on the wrong track. That's why I
Maybe
I'm
for
not
the
finished
good
yet.
reason. Yes, go on.
The reason is this, that these people, what are at the helm of the affair, unless they accept it, poor people cannot take this. These people are not worried about the system that will give them so much money. They want their own pockets to be filled up. If you compare this system with what they are getting from different sources, from everywhere, the aid which gets, or the whatever it gets from different countries, that aid, most of it, 90% goes into their pockets. This system doesn't give them anything. So these are the people who are responsible for implementing this system. They will never do it. They will never do it unless the aid is stopped. This is the thing which is saying is this: if you want to kill some country, give them AIDS. And keep on giving.
Maybe they think that you are actually questioning their system and you are making a replacement, an alternative system.
This is an alternate system, but I'm not replacing it. I'm saying let the old system run, but give it a chance to run this system as well. As far as Mr. Sikandar Shah's question, confidence. Confidence straight away comes if government says, take this money and I give me that original money, I'm giving you this bond, this is a replacement, go and use it, shop it in the government sector. Private sector will come later on, and it gives you 60 to 67. In government, he was right that if you have less money, from 25,000 you can get three rate. But if 5-10 people collect together, they can get 10, 15,000, they can get 100,000. And they can also have the same rate as a rich person. But there is another formula of which they will also get the thing. When the question will be asked, I will answer that. So the main question is, there is a confidence, everything is there, all agreed, but it is the government who has to do this. If the government doesn't do it, poor public cannot do it.
Thank you, Dr. Khan. Any input, Dr. Kandawil?
I need to know, you are the famous eye doctor, how you thought about this and why? First, and then I will ask brother Dr. Ali, the poor, about the poor. I agree with you, but do you know about anything to correct this or to make it easier? Because
More appealing.
yeah, مقاصد الشريعة هنا. The Sharia system try to make the life easier and happier, and this is one of them. How we can correct this? How we can make this system?
Modify it,
Yeah, how we make this system run and in a way to help the poor also, besides helping the rich. And then I have other questions about the custom.
The first question which
yes.
I will ask you,
Did you ask the question to Dr. Khan or
Yeah,
Dr.
both.
Okay, for both. Yes.
First question is towards me.
Yeah.
That, I thought, I was looking, I'm here for the last 31 years. So I am known, most of the people come to me, they are poor, most of them are poor, they come for employment. I was fed up from looking at those people, they are saying, give us help us. I couldn't do anything, I'm a doctor, what can I do? So I thought that there must be something the God has given us which can help these poor people. So I was keep on thinking. My thinking went into the Quran and Sharia, where I found that in Quran and Hadith there is a repetition of, you give this and God will give you this. You do this and God will give you this. Is it saza and jaza? Something like that. It is repeated so many times, so I asked myself why it is so. I asked so many scholars, they could not explain me. Then ultimately I found it myself that we are actually a creature of God which is based on incentive. God has shown us two paths. This is a good, this is a bad. This is good, you will find this is bad, you will find this. A system which is based on incentive will work. Any system which is not based on incentive will never work. This is why private sources, private sector goes improving, and government sector never improve because there's no incentive. They pay a monthly pay, but in this there is a hire and fire, there's a bonus. So this is the thing which prompted me to devise this system.
That this scheme, or what Dr. Khan is putting forth, in some ways, I feel, will lead to more concentration of wealth rather than a more egalitarian or more basis for the poor people, at least to have a fair shake. Why do I say this? What percentage, I know, I don't know about Pakistan, but a good number of poor countries, even if the minimum is $25,000, that is not simply available. The people who will have $25,000 cash and will be willing, after the issue of confidence is dealt with, is still limited. That is one. The second aspect is that the true and tried policy of making sure that the issue of poverty, or the issue at least somehow looking for social equity and a more egalitarian society, is through tax policies. That governments normally tax those who have very high incomes or who have very high net worth, and in terms of inheritance, they also make sure that the wealth of one generation is not passed to the second. Governments have been doing this. What Dr. Khan is suggesting is no taxes. So the wealthy who will benefit and will really benefit disproportionately from this scheme will also not be taxed. So it's a double whammy. It's a double sort of, negatives against the poor and against the people who are suffering already. Dr. Muhammad Yunus of Bangladesh, who has come up with this microcredit. We're talking about giving people a credit of $1 in villages, and a very high percentage of the Bengali population. We're talking, and that has really revolutionized. That has led to people and groups coming together. Again, the issue of more cooperative, more willing to pool resources, because unless that vicious circle is broken, the poor will stay poor. I'll add one last point. I think people can totally disagree with American foreign policy and what America is doing in Pakistan or Afghanistan or Somalia or anywhere.
And Sudan.
Sudan, wherever you mention. The issue is that is a serious and complicated set of issues. And if there is an avenue or an opportunity for debate, it will be debated. What we should focus on here are the fundamentals of this economic policy, of these proposals to increase public revenues and to lead to reversal of now what is happening in terms of recession, employment. Very significant public policy issues are at the heart of this book and need to be discussed front and center, rather than really saying that IMF is hanged or the World Bank has done all. Yes, they have done a lot of atrocious policies, a lot of damage.
By the way, they're being criticized by the UN Secretary
General.
today, by the UN Secretary General, that they need to restructure their functions rather than continue on the same pattern.
The damage is done. Bretton Woods have been with us for the last 60-some years. And the IMF and the World Bank were set up to be organs of the United Nations. That was the system, but it never became. They became part of what is called the Washington Consensus, i.e. the Treasury and the World Bank and the IMF, and the three of them are the ones who have been really setting the agenda, if not the policies of most developing countries. So there is enough to blame, enough to really take to task African leaders or leaders from the developing world who have accepted these policies. One last comment, if Dr. Khan will allow me.
Sure.
It is that the issue of corruption will not only be confined to foreign aid. The government will have, if this system is taken, will have, as he says, and very boldly says, the government in 1 month will be able to raise its budget for the whole year. The issue of corruption will be, where will the budget go? Who will be what, how funds then are allocated, and who gets what? And that is where the bulk of leakage or corruption will still be with us if the government and government officials, and especially senior government officials, are corrupt. This system will not eliminate it.
Okay. Dr. Khan, there is,
Yes.
of course, you'll be commenting on what he's saying, but there is a question.
Yes.
Now, you have agents to sell these coupons.
Yes.
And those people, they can pay $100,000.
Yeah.
Not less than $100,000.
No, there is. There's a system is there. In the book, if you see, there's a table. If you want to buy, the rate is 3, if you buy 20,000, 25,000. The rate is 4 if you buy $50,000.
Okay, so it's on a sliding scale.
It's sliding scale, but nobody, if somebody...
But only for the first month.
Only for the second month also, same.
Same thing.
Same thing, it goes like this. If you
Is
see
that
it,
what you understood?
I understood it to be that this will go on, the first month is where the bulk of the thing will
Bulk
go.
of the thing.
Yeah,
But
okay.
then the second month will be the sliding, the 4% and the 3%.
Downwards, rather.
Downwards.
Yeah,
But that does
okay.
not automatically continue until you get to $10. No.
All right.
It stops at least, as Dr. Khan says, we have these 3 rates.
Yeah.
These 3 rates. And that is where the poor of Somalia, to take an example, will really, and this is, I'm talking about more than 90% of the population will not afford really to, be able to play
Same
this
like
game.
other countries. But you see, the question is, why don't the people buy it directly, not through the agents, but through the government? The poor people can buy it directly at the discounted rate. I mean, if it is to help the poor people, why should it go through the rich person who will buy more coupons and makes money on the poor?
Okay. If you allow
See, if
me,
we are to, yeah, of course, I'm going to allow you.
There is a little confusion here on this. Let's understand the thing first.
Do you want him to
Clearly.
explain?
let me
not
explain.
But I think the way the question has been put
Yeah.
is little different, and it's not like that. The
Okay, tell
agent
me how to rephrase
The
it.
purpose of the agent is only to sell. He doesn't put any money into it. He gets money out of it.
That's what I'm saying.
You see, he gets money by selling.
By selling to the poor.
No, just
He can sell it to
No,
anybody.
he's buying it for.
He will
he's
sell it to
buying it
anybody.
for. He's buying it for
No, he is
five.
not buying it.
he cannot buy.
Okay.
Just let me
That's what
clarify.
should be clear.
So he's getting a percentage
Yeah.
in it, no?
Yeah,
So let
only
me-
in selling it, and that is where the poor is benefiting.
I see. Okay.
Let me
Can you explain?
clarify.
Yeah.
Dr. Ali point is very valid, that corruption will be there, and there is no magic stick. I am saying, I have never said corruption will be eliminated. There is nothing like that. What I am saying is this: if these poor people who are employed by the state without giving any salary, commission basis, I am rich person, what she says.
Okay.
Say in Somalia there are about 90% poor, 10% are there. I take the example of Somalia. Those 10% people, I won't say, I don't know what's the currency, but equivalent, we're not saying, as in Pakistan we say 100,000 rupees. In America we say $100,000. In England we say 100,000 pounds. So it's a different currency which we'll call. In Somalia, we'll call that 100,000. 10% of the people probably can get that. If those people, 10% of people, can think, and they will think, that this agent has got 10% commission, why don't I buy his whole year quota and ask him, give your commission, half commission to me, and I'm your, you don't have to go anywhere and sell at each and every door, knock at the door, I'm with you, I will buy your whole year quota, give me 6% of your commission. That agent will think, I'm a poor, why should I wait for 10% for the whole year? Why not take 4% or 3% and sell my whole year quota in 1 month and take that money, and I also will become an investor. So this is a gimmick where is incentive based. So the poor person will immediately say, yes, I will give you your whole year quota, my whole year quota, I will give you also 5-6%. Now this 6% going to the investor. Now what he does, why he wants to get his 100,000 back. You are saying 20%? No. He wants to get 100,000, not 100% he wants to get back. 20% is nothing. So he goes into the market and he starts selling these coupons for 1 dirham, for $1, for 1 Somali currency, shilling. They will buy at the same rate. He is selling at the same rate, 5 or 6, whatever it is the rate according to the country. So each poor person is also getting, by giving 1 shilling, 5 coupons in the first month. This is what my thing. So every poor person, why? Poor has got some electricity, some oil, all of these things which he uses. That rich person, he gets 6% every day by selling his all year quota, all month quota. You know, what he has bought, he has purchased for 100,000, and he comes home and sells it at the same rate what the government is selling. So the poor person, he is also getting the same rate what a rich, but rich has got more, 5%, 6% more. He carries on doing this till he gets 100,000 back or more. The earlier the person he will buy his quota, the more beneficial to him. So he is beneficial, yes, but poor is also beneficial. Now the poor, why the poor will become more poor? He is getting a job. He has a job, he has got the money, and he has the resources now. This system is making a poor person independent of government. There is a corruption, yes, let it be corruption. Even if all that money goes to the government, doesn't put into that, but this person has started his own business, his own little business. The taxes have gone, the electricity is down, the petrol is down, everything is down. He is not depending on the government. He is not looking for a government job. He is making his own money. This is how.
But the fear of the poor, as it's being actually stipulated.
Yes.
The concern is whether actually he is being used once more for the rich to become richer.
Yes, you are right.
Because in all other theories, this is what they do. They go for the working classes, and then they build their own classes.
They cannot, in this they cannot do it. You know, first thing is this, I've said a duty-free option. There is another which it is in the book. It is especially for Muslim countries, where those people who are illiterate, they at least go to the madrasa, they read Quran and Hadith. There will be, every month there will be examination. Anybody who passes this examination, yes, no, he will get 10,000 rupees. He is employed. He has nothing to do. He has no other choice. So he is employed. There are millions of people who are coupon agents. They are employed. Now the production cost, everything has come down. The bread is cheaper now. To hell with the government. Doesn't matter if the government doesn't give them, they don't need government. But the government ultimately will give them. The reason is simple. If they don't give, the government will be changed.
Thank you. Did you want to add anything?
Yes. I think, Dr. Khan, there is a crucial assumption here. That what he is suggesting is that this free market based on incentive will take the place of command economy or government determining taxes and public finance. The issue, the market itself is a social creation. Markets in most developing countries have all of these enormous hurdles. They are not free in terms of free movement of the factors of production. The poor cannot travel around. In some cases, Professor Sen argues in his book that because of the caste system in India, some of the Indian poor cannot move from one state or one district to another because of the bondage system that exists there. So there is no free movement of labor. The market is, if it's working, we will raise some questions. But if the market itself is not working, you cannot have competition unless the information is available. In most developing countries, information of prices of what they produce and what they buy and what they exchange for this and that is not working properly. So the markets are not functioning, and the way they work, the markets are really instruments in the hands of the privileged, those who already have disproportionate portions of the national wealth and national income. And therefore, leaving it to market forces to determine and deciding and basing the policy on the issue of incentives, I think there is an exaggeration there. We need a functioning market. We need
tools and instruments.
Yes, tools and instruments. We have to work intelligently with the market and build upon how best to use the incentive mechanisms. But when the market itself is not functioning properly, then your hand is tied behind you.
Dr. Abdurrahim,
Here, can I just
just a minute, please. Dr. Abdurrahim. Dr. Abdurrahim, I have seen you focusing on Dr. Ali in the last that he said, but from being a professor in Islamic and social sciences, have you looked at the briefing and the book?
Yeah,
you read it, right?
But
okay.
My question is, can the people, the poor people, get loans, big loan, to buy these bonds, and then they pay it back to whatever bank or the government or whatever?
That's maybe a good question.
This,
yes.
maybe
Yes.
Very good question. Yes.
And also, let me add before I forget this.
What would it be interest free? Interest free loans?
Should be.
So it's not like the Islamic banking now.
No taxes. In this way, the custom taxes, the other countries will treat us the same way. No taxes. This is a big question.
Your question is very, very important. The poor man. A poor man, actually how it goes, only in the first month, yes, poor man will get 5. How much he has got? He has got not money, he has got 500 rupees or $100 or so. He can collect this and he can buy for the first 1 month. What happens after that? There are 12 months to go, another 11 months to go. From where he will get a good rate? He goes to a bank. The bank has, I've got 3 registrations here the bank will say that he has put a registration in which he has bought that if he gives 100,000 or whatever it is, he can get 600,000 or 500,000 every month. He has put a lot of big registration because why? He will sell it in the next month. The rate is good. So a poor man goes to the bank and says, I need, say, about 5,000 coupon per month. He says, okay, deposit 500 dirham, $500 or 500 this, and I will give you a rate of 4.5. I can't give you more than that. So there will be haggling. So a poor man, if he can get a rate of 4 or 4.5 or 4.25, he will be happy instead of 5. So throughout the year, he says, every month you give me this and I will give you this rate. This rate, if he gets every month through the bank, he will be happy. Plus there is an open market. He can buy it from the open market. The open market rate will fluctuate, come and go. So, but he doesn't want to rely on that. It might be 3, it might be 3.5. It depends on all the open market rate. It's a free economy. Now he goes to the bank because this is more reliable, and he says, okay, I am happy now. I don't get 5, but I get 4.5, and the bank gets 20% in this way. So he has got this. Why he will get loan? He doesn't need to have a loan if the production cost has come. He has a job. Why he will get loan? Loan is only when he cannot make his both hands meet. So here I have said, loan will not be given to anybody except those things which will be given to the big institutions through banks. Put 20%, government put 80%. And there will be industrialization of that country. Every country will have biggest industry in their own way. Because the government has got a lot of money and the banks are depending on the government. The government gives the money and there will be, banks will start banking. If some banks fails, then the government says, you have not done your homework. so I will not give you more money. So the bank has got much more to lose than the government. So in this way, there are millions of jobs created. Poor, that you're absolutely, Dr. Ali is right, that rich will do this. Yeah, rich he has got a lot of money. He is not going to put the money underground. He will put more mills. He will put more industries. He will not work on those industries. Poor man will work on the industries. He will do everything to get more money, yes, but more money will only be done through industrialization. Once the industrialization, he does it, he makes one mill, and then on the profit he makes another, and the poor person will get jobs in those mills. This is how it is.
Mr. Sikandar, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I think this program needs to be understood more clearly than what I can see from this discussion that is taking place. A lot of things that have come up from this side and from his side. I will talk more on Pakistan because that's where, I've seen his programs and I've been attending his programs. So I have a fairly good idea of this whole thing.
Have you been on any of the TV shows for this program?
Yes, I have been on the TV shows, and as his adversary, and I'm sitting today also as his adversary, and I've seen his programs also. Now, you want me to go to him direct or just correct
talk to the viewers.
Couple of things that these
talk to the viewers,
gentlemen have said.
And you can say whatever you want.
Okay, now from his point of view, he was talking about the poor man. Now, you see in Pakistan, a house, which is just a very small house, it costs about 400,000-500,000. So he can go to the bank, and doctor unfortunately is not a good marketer for his program. That poor man can go to the bank and say, listen, this is my house, I want to pledge it to you, I want $100,000 or 100,000 whatever, rupees, Pakistan. They'll get it. They'll get it. Now here he brings 100,000 rupees, okay, the poor man, and he buys it at 1:6, he gets the maximum benefit out of it. He waits for 3 months, he sells it, doubles his money, he goes back to the bank, returns his money, now he has 100,000 to play with.
This is not poor.
This is the poor man.
Maskeen.
Maskeen, he pledged his home.
He has house.
You mean the poor man in Pakistan possesses a house of $100,000?
Not
dollars,
rupees.
It is rupees. You see, so that's
rupees,
about,
I see.
and
So
that's about
it is
at
rupees.
least 4 or 5 lakh. 4 or 5 lakh it costs nowadays in Pakistan.
Yeah, it is.
He can, even the mud house, the land itself is expensive.
But I thought that a lot of the poor people in Pakistan don't own houses at all.
They're not.
No, it's not like that. I mean, okay, there may be a certain percentage who may not own houses, but that percentage is small. A fairly large percentage of people do have houses, though it may be a mud house, but it will be a house and it will have a land on it. You see,
It's a price of land.
So that is one area from where a poor man can source the money. The other is that every household has some gold.
Providing that he has the right mindset to do.
Well, naturally,
Maybe he
when
doesn't have the right mindset to
saying-
know the value of the money, and the poor people don't know. They need
he
some
only knows this much that if I
some
buy,
directions.
of course, that has to be given by him through public awareness. But once the things picks up, then people come to know.
Okay.
You see, in my country, in 1940, we used to have a very complicated currency. You see, and if I start mentioning it to you, everybody will get confused.
No, I know that all the GCC countries used to use the rupees at one time.
Like even if you look at the English currency, they used to be shillings and penny.
I know. 12 pennies to the shilling and
yes,
all this.
in rupee
yes,
they used to be 16 annas.
Yes.
Now for a poor man or for an illiterate man to understand and multiply 16 times that many times, it's a difficult thing, but it was happening, it was taking place. So people do get aware.
Gold, which you are mentioning.
Gold was the second thing which I told you. A poor man always will have some gold at home. Maskeen even. I mean, for his daughter's marriage or son's marriage, he will go, he will do beg, borrow, whatever he will do, but he will give some money to his son, some gold, and that gold is lying in tons, at least in Pakistan, which is doing nothing. So his program can very easily unearth that thing, and it can happen in a poor man's house, and it can happen in a rich man's house also. So these are the perspectives that must be understood. Dr. Ali talked about taxation. Yes, the world economy depends on taxation. Today it's working on taxation. That's how the government runs.
And
they
bank
tax people.
interests.
Yeah, they apply tax, and they take the money, and then they run the government. His program, which if it's to be understood clearly, is that it takes its birth from tax. So here I would like to have this point corrected, that the tax will not go, the tax will be there. You see, but his program moves away from that tax and gives the benefit to that person, which is absolutely illegal. It is very incentive.
So you believe that you can provide these people 50 to 60% less to the rates that they are paying now for purchases?
Yes, for purchases, yes, you can. But again, that's where I'll be coming into him and firing him on that, because that's where the apprehension is, and that's where I told him that there are no takers. That is where the whole thing lies. As far as the poor people are concerned, Dr. Ali, if a man, he has to pay 5,000 to become an agent. Now, if he has become an agent and he has paid 5,000 rupees, and there are millions of them who would have done that. So then for the government, it becomes, of course, it will still be open. There will be a lot of hanky-panky going on, in the sense that, let's say, if a government is there, they would like to give that benefit of an agent to his political people or political agents, or things, or all their sycophants. But then there is a danger that with 5,000 people having paid by these individuals, if such a hanky-panky takes place, then there will be a big uprising. Those people will uprise, they'll come up. So against that fear, I think the poor will benefit out of this scheme. You're talking about bringing, life into business. Then when this money upfront is collected, then the government, what it's supposed to do is, then the lender becomes the government. It's no more the bank. The bank money, as he is anticipating, would go to the government now. So now the government becomes the lender, and
so the governments are not under the threats of the banks or international monetary funds, or the banks are not under any threat from anybody.
No, they are not. I mean, they will buy this.
If they have all the money that they need,
no.
Why should they be?
No, they will buy the bonds because they will benefit out of it. You see, the banks will benefit. There's a big benefit in that, and they have the money, 100,000 and above. They will have. They are the people who will be doing most of the buying. The finance institutions, they'll be doing most of the buying, and they will almost go empty. They won't get empty, because in the private sector, like what he was saying, that there is a different formula, and for that money will be required. So the banks will have money, but they will lose maybe more than 50% of the money will come to the government. So now the government becomes the lender. So the government then says that, okay, I will give you $20. I will give you $80. You bring me $20, and we make a joint venture with $100. You take 60%, I take 40%. So that fear that you had, that there will be a spurt in the business. And when there will be a spurt in the business, in addition to these agents, there will be a very big demand for labor over there. You see, because there will be increase in industry, there will be increase in trade, there will be increase in with the government doling out money and becoming a partner, 40% partner in each business. You see, so, and of course this will be done through the bank to keep it transparent. Now, that is where what your fear was, that is going to be compensated there, and there will be a spurt in because this upfront money the government picks up, it is supposed to go and give it. It's supposed to invest there'll be a public government partnership. Now, where the problem lies is that what I have looked into is that, let's say, for his program is very idealistic. This thing must happen because he is giving 70% discount, And that 70% discount, and anybody that he has gone to, and I have been there, I have seen, the first thing they jump on is, they say, oh, there's such a government is doing 70% discount. From where is the 70% government is going to cover? That's the first question. They jump around, they don't even listen to the whole program, and they start questioning there. So there is a question there. That
So tell them.
the government is going to lose.
Tell the viewers, how could the government do that?
Yeah,
If
but
you
then,
understood it.
Yes, but then the thing is that there are, like what I said was that once the government, as if it goes ideally as he is programmed it, then the government will have upfront money in the first month to be able to invest that money into joint venture in industry, in agriculture, in trade, you see, and taking 40%, becoming 40% shareholder. So that deficiency or that loss that the government was incurring in giving the discount, early discount of 70%, that would be recovered out of that. That the government will recover money from there.
But how?
Then,
Can you show people?
yeah, because
In a few words, right? How would the procedure go? People are oriented to systems. Now everybody knows that the tax will help them with national health and with the welfare state. And what do you have alternatives? How
you
can
see,
people
tax,
do that?
you are not taking tax away. The tax, if there's a tax, let's say there's 100% tax.
No, but you see, Dr. Khan says eliminating of tax.
No, you're not eliminating tax.
Of course.
He is keeping
says
that. This is where I said it is should
demolish taxes.
No.
Demolish
It's not
interests.
being. It's not.
This
being,
is what's written in
no,
this book.
No. It should must be understood. The tax will remain. Let's say if there's a 100% tax, the 100% tax will be there. His program takes birth from that tax. It says, okay, listen, I'm giving you a coupon, and if you use this coupon, okay, against this 100% tax, okay, you will get a 70% discount. So what he is doing is that on a tax which is, let's say, 100%, he is giving 70% discount through the coupon.
Look,
He is not lowering his tax.
Mr. Sikandar, I'll let Dr. Khan explain.
yes.
In the last,
Okay,
yes.
in the last three episodes,
Yeah.
Dr. Galaid was here, and he said that we will eliminate tax, interest, and poverty.
Okay.
How will you eliminate tax? Tax will be automatically eliminated through a period of time. Because in every business venture, okay, the government will become 40% partner. Now you take from a small business to a mega business. Now here the government is a 40% partner. There may be thousands of businesses will develop in which the government will be a 40% partner.
Mr. Sikandar,
Right, let
thank
me-
you very much. I trust your analysis and judgment, but let
Let
the
me
author
speak.
of the book say
Yes.
what he said.
I said it's up to the government. After 1 month, if they have collected so much of money which they are not returning it, this is not a loan. There's no interest on it. So if they still want to kill people, take tax.
But this is not what I heard. Dr.
Which is what it is.
No, you said
It's a
we
government
will eliminate poverty.
No,
We will stop taxes.
you see what-
and we will stop also interests.
It depends. The interest
No,
I've just.
I've understood it is that with the business, with the participation
Yeah,
of business,
you have not- you are
of
confused.
government in business, it is moving towards a tax-free regime.
Yeah, this is what it is.
It is moving
Government-
towards a tax-free regime.
Government says
But
I don't have
At
to.
some time, it will say, okay, no more taxes.
This is
The
government
government
says.
is generating enough money from its business ventures.
Businessman, why
It
you
doesn't
will
need to
cut-
tax
why
it.
you will take
Finish.
tax?
You see?
This is the main.
Yes, sir.
It's a government has got incentive of not taking tax. You know why?
But let me please come to the point which I want to ask you.
Yes,
You see,
incentive is
where,
there.
see, where,
Please.
where I want to ask him.
Please
the
do.
The question is this, that as I said, it is very idealistic. Now he is giving 60-70% discount, and he is hoping that he is going to pick up this big money, and then he is going to invest it into the business ventures
Even before
to be
it-
able to generate the money that he has lost initially, by giving the discount.
Okay.
Now let's say for any reason, due to fear of the people or something like that, that money is not generated, that purchase is not done. He anticipates that, okay, listen, he will be able to, in 1 month's time, bring up, accumulate budget,
Have high
two or three
revenues.
of higher revenue.
Yes.
Let's say if that higher revenue doesn't come. Now let's say if that money doesn't come, here he has committed himself 70% down. You
Okay,
see?
yes,
Yeah,
that
this
is
is
where
what-
the...
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a very, very,
good question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now
very-
the second
very-
one, other
no,
one
but
is
then-
Okay.
yeah,
that
no,
in third world countries, you
No,
see, the
then-
problem is governments change. Now let's say one government is there and they brought the system, People bought it in billions, and now the government changed, and the government says, okay, listen, we want to discontinue.
Okay, let me explain
Now,
now.
that is another fear that...
Okay, let me explain now.
No,
First,
but
please.
Okay, you will. But just one question so that you can insert it also. You say it's about a system failure.
Yes.
And you are bringing a replacement to that system whereby you eliminate, right? All these things that we said, taxes, interest, and poverty.
By virtue of choice. By virtue of choice. I'm not saying do it. No. I'm saying it is your choice. You have billions of dollars already collected. You have more than the year's budget in 1 month. And this is only one door has opened. There are 7 doors which I opened, if you go wise there. You still want taxes? Yes, you can take taxes, but your government will lose popularity. Another government will come. Why to take tax? If tax, without tax, you have so much of money, and you have created so much, it's up to you to say, I am not going to take tax. This is the main thing I'm talking about.
Now, I have 2 minutes.
Yes.
And in the next episode, we will be asking the question that you have raised in your book. The one thing that talks about the low government revenues, replacement to it, high revenues through MBCS coupon system, right? Now, which is the mutual benefit coupon system. Now, you claimed in the same example that you used for Pakistan, which we will be talking about in the next episode, that you will improve liquidity, and then you will improve liquidity and borrowing and collections, and of course budget surpluses, and you will give more facilities on that, and you will remove, of course, deficits and repay external debts that you have to the International Monetary Fund. Is it? Is it International Monetary Fund? Yes. And I think until we meet next week for the talk on the economic revolution of the century, we will be taking the example of Pakistan as a set example for discussing a country which you know well, and of course we are well aware of its crisis and economy. And until then, good luck to you all. The Economic Revolution of the Century, written by Dr. Niaz Khan. And I think this is the end of today's program on the economic book of the century. Thank you very much.